Hey guys, if you're joining already, we're gonna get started here in just a second. I'm trying to pull something up real quick. Okay, well, hopefully you guys can hear me okay there and everything like that. For some reason, usually how it works, it did not pop up. So, anyways, all right, so we're going to go get started here. I do have a little bit different of a view than today. Again, trying to just change things up, see what you guys like the best. Right now, you can see on the left side here, you're going to have 5-minute ES and 15-minute ES, and then on the right side, you'll have 5-minute NQ and 15-minute NQ. So pretty much that's kind of what I look at primarily, and that's kind of what we're just going to focus on here. So overnight, yesterday was FOMOC day. We had a pretty good move up, interesting, pretty much a non-factor day. It wasn't necessarily a dovish meeting. I think there was a lot of uncertainty that was left over after that meeting by the Fed. A lot of stuff was said about potentially not having a rate cut for sure in December. So that's interesting that the Fed is saying that. So we're going to have to definitely keep an eye on where the markets go with that. So markets overnight had a pretty big move up. We did get a new all-time high on both ES and NQ, but right now we're setting up a really nice rejection. We have a really nice potential down day set up here. I had basically 68.75 and 26,000. That's pretty much my key kind of bounce or die spot. If we lose those, I do think we could come down to the 8 EMA support on the daily, right around 68.55 and 25.790 area. So looking at pre-market right here, we have a really nice range. Resistance is sitting right at 69.29 to 69.32 on ES, and on NQ that's sitting at 26.383 to 26.291. We have, as you can see, the purple lines are demand or support. We have a ton of support and demand right here. There is a lot of support from 68.78 to 68.91. And on NQ, we have pretty much 26.070 to 26.086. If we lose that, honestly, down from pretty much, I'd say 25, it's tough because really from 25.900 to 26.023, we just have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 different demand levels that we're going to need to break through, and that's certainly going to be a tough breakdown. So we're going to have to definitely keep an eye on that. We're about to open bell here in about 30 seconds. Preliminarily, I do think we're going to probably get a bounce here off this demand and support area, likely at least back to the 20 EMA resistance at 69.10, 26.197 area. We might go back up to 69.29 and 26.283, that overnight resistance, before seeing some downside here, but we do have a little bit of sellers. VIX is red, but it is uptrending, so we'll see what this market brings here. Today I'm working on day 2 of 2 on my eval, day 2 of 2 of my evals for my funded futures. I do need 1,500 there to complete that. And then looking over at my funded account, I'm on day 2 of 3 here on FNF. So there, I'm really looking for about $700 to $900 today. But we'll definitely just see what the market wants to give us. We're not going to force anything here. But here we go. So preliminarily, we are rejecting nicely off the 15-minute 5 EMA at 68.94 and 26.114. This is where we, as you can see, are testing this major demand and support area. So we need to be careful, and we need to see kind of what we're going to do here. If we're going to break down through all this support, or if we're going to finally get a bounce up and then make the move down. I generally would expect the move to result in a bounce, and we'll probably, like I was saying, test this resistance area up here, and then we'll make the move down. Generally speaking, like I've said numerous times, I do not short into support. I wouldn't even want to short into 2 levels of support, let alone about 6 levels of support right here. So the odds of this bouncing here are fairly high. So be careful again, and don't be early in the move to the downside. All right, so we are slowly trying to make this move down here. We actually have some pretty nice sellers. So we got about a minute to close here. If we get a 5-minute close under 26.070, I would start to entertain a short here. Likely down to, again, it's tough because we have so many levels down here. I would have generally expect 25.975 area to get tested, but we have honestly aggressive sellers right now on the 5-minute. So again, I'm going to look for a short. I want to see the 5-minute closure, and then we're going to look for continuation. So that probably would result in some sort of back test, depending on where we close, likely off 26.086 area. So let's see kind of where we get this closure here. We are really, if you look at it, forming a nice 15-minute bear flag. We had kind of 2 candles there sideways. We, on this candle, attempted to test and break through 68.95 and 26.107, which is the 15-minute 5 EMA resistance, and we had a nice double top rejection. So generally speaking, that sets us up for the downside here. So again, here we go. We got our close. I would not, based on the strength of this drop, nor the overall levels that we're looking at, chase a short right away here. But we did get our 5-minute closure under 26.070. I would really like to see a back test off that level to then go short, that would be my A plus short level here. So let's see if we kind of get that play out here. ES is starting to make a push down, so it might just keep going. But again, it's tough shorting into, I mean, as you can see there are an incredible amount of demand and support levels right here. VIX is moving up, so that is supportive of downside. We do have some sellers on ES. Not as aggressive as NQ, that's for sure. But let's see where we go here. VIX is making a big move here, so this might just keep pushing. Let's go ahead and jump in on this short.
Order submitted. Order filled.
I got a 25-point take profit set here. That's pretty much honestly just to pass my funded future evals here. So let's see if we can get that touched real quick here. Coming in nice. Let's go ahead and set a break even. A little bit more. Boom, there we go. All right, nice 25-point quick little grab there. So that passes my funded futures accounts finally. Those things have been my kryptonite, I tell you what. So that's day 2 of 2 passed there. So now we are still going to look for one more play here on my FNF accounts, so that way I can get up into that $900 range there. So that was nice. That was good. That was what we want to see to start our day off. So yeah, this is looking good. This is looking heavy. We are certainly making a downside move here. Personally, I don't see any reason to be long here. We have aggressive sellers on 5 and 15 minute. We are just bottoming through support here. VIX and VX are moving up. We're breaking through that level I mentioned pre-market, 68.75. That was my level. And if you look over on the 15-minute chart here on 5 and 15-minute chart here on ES, we have 68.70 to kind of correlate perfectly with that. So again, I mean, I don't know if you guys can see the well as I can see this over here on NQ, but there is just a unbelievable amount of levels over here on NQ. I mean, this is wild. So basically we have, let's see, we got 26,000, we'll call it, down to 25,800. So in this 200-point range, I mean, you can see how many levels we have to just kind of start ticking through. I do think we're going to start diving here pretty aggressively. I'm looking for about another 20-point move here. However, I want to be patient. I would like to see in about a minute here this 5-minute candle close, maybe get a small bounce, or we might just start drilling some more. I'm going to try to jump in and go ahead and get another 20 points here if I can. And guys, I will not be around tomorrow. We're taking a trip with the kids overnight to Great Wolf Lodge. So we'll be staying the night there and then going up to, or coming back tomorrow night. And then obviously tomorrow's Halloween. So, you know, I'm sure the markets will be spooky. But we'll see. I'll be back Monday, obviously trading and stuff. So, all right, here we go. We got our close. Again, I would love to see a bounce to the upside, you know, even if it's just up to, I mean, I think 26,000 is a pretty reasonable spot to look for a bounce here, But if both ES and NQ break through their lows, which is about 68.66 and 25.947, probably just going to keep drilling here. But, you know, this is almost, it's really only a 60-point candle. I mean, it's kind of crazy. It looks like a lot more than it is, but, or sorry, check that. It's a 182-point candle already on NQ 15 minutes, so it's definitely definitely tough here to keep shorting this here. But it looks good. I'll tell you that. It does look good. All right, let's jump in.
Order filled.
Look for our 20-point short here. So they're going to get the bounce. Okay, that's all right. They're going to get the bounce here, so that's what it was a good chance that we could just keep going, but they did end up bouncing us here. So let's get looking for about 26,000, and then we'll look for another short entry. Still have aggressive sellers, still have VIX moving up. So we had a little bit of a back test to the upside. Now let's see if they can keep dropping this here. We are certainly getting I wouldn't even say we're overextended to the downside. We just have ran so much that I think I'm going to go ahead and wait for this new 15-minute candle to close for us. And once that closes, we should get a bounce entry. So I'm going to be patient here and look for our next win here. Were any of you guys that were watching the video able to get in on that first short too, or no? So here's our pop. That does look like that 26,000. Just under about 4 points short of touching it there. So we got a minute to close here. No new demand. So again, odds are good that we're still going to see some downside. We are starting to leave a little bit of a wick on ES though. So kind of gives us a little bit of we got to be patient here. The candles would generally suggest that a double bottom on the 15-minute is likely to come, but it's certainly got a lot of sellers right now. So this very well could just keep going lower. We'll see if we can maybe get a nice maybe 5-minute double top here that we can go short on. Let's see where we close this candle here. Alright, so new candles open. I do like the odds of a 15-minute 5 EMA back test. That's that blue line. It would take us all the way up to about 68.85, right about 26.025 area. And then from there, we might get a rejection. The 15-minute sellers have not broken. We do have a little bit of a breakdown on the 5-minute sellers, but mind you, they're about 3 times aggressive right now, which means they're very aggressive. So once this does pop up here, I do think we'll get the rejection to be able to short here. I do think it's interesting that VIX is still red, down about 1% right now, and we're down about 1% on NQ. So you can just see there continues to be divergence between between the markets and VIX. Okay, so here's that move up. We're coming right into it, that 68.90, 26.025 area. So ES is trying to break back through 5-minute ORB resistance, that's 68.85. We get up to about 26.043 on NQ. So again, watching this push up here, being patient. I do expect a rejection. Likely will not come until the next 5-minute candle opens. And it really could make us wait for another 15-minute candle to play out a 15-minute double top once again off of the 15-minute 5 EMA at 26.060 area. So big recovery here. Interesting to see the recovery with such impressive sellers, but again, VIX is is moving down right now, so the market is reacting quite a bit to that move. So 26.043, that's our 5-minute resistance, 5-minute ORB level on NQ. That's a big pivot level to watch. I'm watching for the rejection here. And then we can hopefully maybe get it on a short opportunity. Now, if this 5-minute closes back over 26.043, then really we have to start entertaining the idea that this could keep pushing even higher. Okay, we've got about 40 seconds to close here. I mean, geez. That whole 200-point move down pretty much just got erased in about 5 minutes. It's still interesting to me, though, that the 15-minute sellers on NQ have not broken. So, again, as we're testing right now, that 15-minute 5 EMA, which is where we rejected on the previous 15-minute candle, I struggle to trust upside here. I do think we are likely going to see a rejection back down, but I think we need to be patient for that because this is just kind of trying to push right now. This is quite the impressive opening, though. I mean, we had almost, like I said, almost a 200-point drop, and now we're pretty much looking at a 200-point recovery. So lots and lots of movement this morning. Pretty volatile, that's for sure. So, geez. Well, ES broke through 68.95, which was pretty much our previous previous supply and resistance from the drop. NQ is coming into that level right now. That's at 26,128. So that's a big level to watch. VIX is still moving down, but it's, so it's interesting here. Again, sellers would suggest that we're not going to break out, and this is just a back test off resistance, but it's very hard to justify a short right at the moment just because this is such an impressive recovery. I do think they might make us wait for the next 15-minute candle to play maybe a double top down lower, but as of right now, I'm just kind of sitting patient. I don't see a good entry here just yet. But we are fighting really nice at point of control and off this 5-minute 20 EMA at 26,100. Again, we have up to about 26,128, that ORB resistance, which is also right where our previous supply on the 15-minute is too. So again, big level to watch here in the next pretty much 7 minutes of closure. We're starting to get a little bit of a wick to the downside now on VX especially, but also on VIX, as we're also rejecting a little bit here on ES and NQ. So again, we'll kind of see where we close here. This is a pretty massively bullish engulfing candle, almost a 30-point engulfing candle on ES 15 minutes. So again, that's pretty bullish. And we're now, ES is fighting at the 15-minute 20 EMA, which is pretty much last stand resistance. And then here you go, you got NQ now bullishly engulfing the previous 15-minute candle, and now it's breaking through previous supply and resistance. So we actually could see a move up to 26,172 here now on NQ. Sean, yeah, I don't know, man. It's sellers have broken down officially here, so, or not, well, they are weaker, I will say. They haven't broken down to where there's buyers. Even on ES, there's really no buyers. So this move is only being pushed essentially by the VIX dropping. So I'm indifferent. You know, if we do, which we just did, close over 26,126, which is ORB resistance, I have to favor the upside, and I'm seeing 5-minute buyers come in here, but I generally would not want to chase such a big green upside candle. I wouldn't want to chase such a big red downside candle either. So it's a tough one right here. I'm patient here, I think. I still think the next 15-minute candle is likely going to be a rejection, but either way, yes, I think a back test is certainly needed for an entry, but I don't know what that entry is just yet. If you don't factor in the size of the current candle, this would essentially be a great 5-minute long entry because we just bounced, we just closed over. Well, I guess I wouldn't say it's a great entry. It's a good entry because we just closed over 5-minute ORB. But the negative that we have is that we're still coming into EMA resistance. So you still have the 5-minute 50 EMA resistance, and you still have the 15-minute 20 EMA resistance, and we have not closed over the 15-minute ORB or resistance supply that was established. So potentially, again, we could go up here, but I still favor the short personally. I still favor that we're going to get some sort of double top on the 15-minute candle. Whether that's a retest and with volatility we can get a win, or whether that is actually just a rejection and this sends us back down to, 26040 area or something like that. Big wick on VX now. All right, I'm going to take the short. I'm short here. I like the rejection. ES is starting to reject, which kind of led our upside here too. So I think this is a good enough potential rejection lower here. Big wick on VX. VIX has a wick too. Real volatile here, that's for sure. Nope. They got our stop there. So a little fake out there. Okay, well, we got about a minute to close here. Let's see where we close and see what we can find for another entry here. Down about $300 right now, so not bad overall. So that bounce here, though, it took out a ton of our levels, though, as you can see. So now pretty much our support level down there is 68.78 and 25.974. Again, we're still coming into EMA resistance. I still think we're going to get a short opportunity here, and I probably will, again, look for a short. I just don't think I had maybe enough drawdown there. Especially if we can close back under 26.126. Yeah, it looks like I just barely didn't have enough drawdown. Got stopped out by a couple points there. So let's see what they get us for a setup here. We got about 20 seconds till close. Okay, so we did close under Let's see if we can run back to 26,140 first. But as you can see, the 15-minute candle closed right at 26,126, which is that ORB resistance on the 15-minute. ES is rejecting right at its 20 EMA resistance. And wow, nice, geez, nice big pop. Wow, okay, here we go. Definitely was not expecting us to continue it up higher there. Interesting. VX and VIX is kind of playing out a fake downside, or almost a fake recovery here. We had the long wicks to the downside, but then the candle immediately dropped. So that's kind of where this pop is coming from here. We do have some 5-minute buyers, but they're not super aggressive. So, you know, again, we did lose back under the 5-minute ORB, but now we're kind of pushing. So just not a great entry. I generally still... I'm not sure where they're going to close this. You know, they might just slap this 5-minute candle right back down, and we might see a big drop, probably down to 26,043 area, and maybe down to 68.94 on the 5-minute ES, but it's not a very good entry yet. The 15-minute double top is still there. I still like it. We're going to try it again.
Order failed.
Try the short again. Might have just got bear trapped, but I like the rejection. It flashed what I wanted to see, which is the 5-minute double top, the red candle, and the rejection, but then they instantly popped it. So it's tough. You know, this is pretty volatile, but the big drop is there. It's likely to come, to be honest. Okay, ES is playing out the drop right now. As you can see, we're dropping. NQ is attempting also. This is a big 15-minute double top I was looking for. Now we just need the drop to play out for us here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and set our break even. So we got 20 points right now. Again, I'm holding. I'm looking. I think we're going to see a big enough flash. It might come up and get our break even, unfortunately, but actually, I'm going to let this one run. I like it. We'll set our normal 20. Let's just leave our regular stop loss for now. A lot of volatility today, so we gotta be careful with setting too early of break evens. But we have the rejection on the 5 and 15 minute. This is a big 5-minute close here. Preferably it'll close red on us here, and if it closes red, back still under 26,126, this huge doji should be the confirmation of rejection. VX pushed through its previous high. VIX is double bottoming. Double bottom on ES and N, or sorry, double top on ES and NQ. This should certainly be our drop. This is at least an A+, so I'm content holding. All right, here we go. See if we can get this. I'm looking for about 60 points because I'm down about 350 right now, and I want my 900. So there's my 20-point break even. I'm up 30 points. Let's see if we get a big flush here on this new 5-minute candle. I'll be happy to stop out at 20 points, but let's see what we get here.
Stop.
Okay, so 20 points, back to the green. I'll take that win. Good win. Good patience there. Good execution. Now, again, I think we're going to go back up and touch probably 60.95 and probably 26.127. And then again, look for the rejection lower. We are still sitting on point of control at 26.100. So that's a big bounce spot. Man, what a bounce, though. This is bouncy. That's for sure. Good exit, though. I'm glad we set some protection there. You know, we moved the stop loss back up initially before the big move played out, and that's just part of the volatility. But it did work out well there, so sometimes you can take a little or put a little bit of risk on in order to be rewarded. But I definitely did not see this big recovery. Geez. I still think it's going to get slapped back to the downside here. I think this is a fake pop. However, if we close back over 26.126, then I will start entertaining the long idea. But, I mean, VX and VIX are pushing. At least the doji rejection off the 15-minute 20 EMAs is there. So, again, you know, it's a decent rejection possibility here. We might get another short opportunity here. I'm just not seeing it just yet. And also, I would not mind waiting this out just in the off chance they want to push us for a new 5-minute candle. We got about 2 minutes now. They might try to run this, hold this right under 26.160. And then double top it back lower. So that's kind of what I'm watching here. And the only reason I'm not entertaining a long right now, it's not that I'm short biased, it's just that the long is not there because we are still technically in a downtrend. We are still under 20 EMA resistance on 15-minute. And we still have not closed over 26.127 on the 15-minute, which is the 15-minute ORB. Also, VIX and VX are still uptrending with 20 EMA support underneath them. So I don't see a reason to be long here yet. I think these are just kind of some painful bounces before we likely will see another flush.
Order submitted. Order
Okay,
failed.
I'm back in for a short here. Not the exact entry I wanted. I wanted a little bit higher, but I do think this, again, is going to, when this 5-minute candle closes, I think we're going to flush lower and close back probably near 26.100. Here we go, nice moves. See what we can get here. Probably will close before this new 5-minute candle opens, but this one I will probably leave my 5-point break even. We're going to see if we can get our full 40 points here. That'll get me my daily goal. Okay, 20-point break. Okay, I'm out 20 points. Love, love, love hearing that cash register. Probably could have held that one, but again, honestly, it moved too fast for me to move my stop loss back up. But that would have been my full 40 points I wanted. But I need about 20 points now, so that's my daily goal. But for you guys that don't use Ninja, if you're watching the stream, that cash register sound is essentially, I always, well, not always, but 99% of the time, I set a trailing, like I have, what you want to call them, bracket orders. So essentially, as price hits X amount of points, my stop loss automatically moves up. So like in that situation, it moves so fast, there was no possible way for me to get in there to exit myself. So I did quickly re-enter here, and the reason is, I'll show you real quick if I can pull it up before it stops. We get it there. But if you look here in the 5 minute, we had the back test. We broke down. We're back testing point of control and the 5 minute 20. So the rejection looks pretty good here. Probably down to 26.043. It's a good enough play that we might get stopped out, but it's a good enough breakdown with confirmation from sellers that we're going to go lower. So I'm trying to play out just my 20 points I need here. This is a really A+ continuation on the short here. VIX and VX are still moving up. ES is trying to bounce a little bit, so they might bounce this back right back up to 26.126. But again, closing under that point of control, under 5 minute 20 EMA, 2 rejections to the upside. We're breaking through 5 minute 5 EMA on 15 minute with a double top. Again, I like the play down to 26.043, but it might not play out here for us. ES looks a little stronger, but I like the rejection. Real volatile on this candle, but we got a good entry with our stop loss right at a good spot there, where likely we're going to see the rejection. I did move my TP down just about 5 points, just because I need for my daily goal 25 points actually. But I like this. I think again I'm looking for 26.043. Realistically is the level I think we're going to hit here. I need 26.0555.75 for my actual entry or exit rather. ES is getting the rejection now. VX and VIX is pushing up. I mean, it looks good here. Let's see if we get that final 15-minute candle, 2-minute flush here. Here we go. Here we go. All right, keep going. Whew, she is volatile. Either way, I'll try to exit before this 15-minute candle, but I don't think I'm going to have to wait. I think it's going to hit my profit here. So had I not moved my take profit down an extra 5 points, it would have just hit by a 20-point take profit there. So that is a little unfortunate, but again, I need the extra 5 points for my daily consistency. So, but I still think we're gonna get. I still think it's gonna hit. Okay, we got 15 seconds here. All right, unfortunately, big bounce there. Did not quite play out, but that's okay. Still up on the day, so again, back in it, back looking for another play here. That's a tough one. I like that play. I think that was a great short. Unfortunately, again, it just did not play out. I need a small little bounce here. I'm going to try another short.
Order submitted.
All right, I'm in short. Didn't quite get the bounce I wanted, but that's okay. I like the play here. So the reason I like this play is, yes, we had the bounce on that last 5-minute candle. That last 5-minute candle, but we are still under the 26,127 level. We are double topping off the 5-minute. We have sellers still. And this looks like a nice failed recovery off the 15-minute 20 EMA resistance. And now we should see our flush lower. I mean, VIX and VX are still pushing lower too. So again, I like the flush. We really need to break through 26,060 and 68.94 for some solid continuation lower. But this does look really, really good for the downside here. Okay, so 5-point break even. Let's see if we can keep going here. A little bit lower. Man, these bounces. The bounces are tough because they're coming and sweeping the break evens before we can get the win. The big win, rather. Okay, 20-point break even. Need about 10 points more. Let's see if it gives it to us. If not, I'll take the stop out too. That's cool with me. 10 points more. Can they do it? Let's see if they give it to us. 26,044. There it is. All right. Another day of battling. This time, a lot more profitable battling, so we do like to see that. But daily goal hit. Very good there. Very happy. I know these streams the first couple days were not what I wanted to play, not what I wanted to see, but playing out better here. So good win on the day. So right now we're flattening all. We are closing out up 900 on all 6 of my FNF accounts. I passed day 2 of my eval, so that's a good thing right there. So let me do some calculations real quick here for you guys. So as of right now, for Monday, remember I will not be trading tomorrow. Monday, we need about, let's call it 600 to make it even. About $600 in order to get a 9K payout. So that's pretty cool. It's a pretty good day there. $600 is pretty reasonable. That's 30 points. Hopefully this volatility, I don't hate the volatility. I like volatility because it gives me points to win. I just don't like when it doesn't make sense. I think today made sense. You know, all the bounces were, made sense. You know, even this last 5-minute candle that we got stopped out on the short before this short played out, it made sense. The play did play out. It just didn't play out on our time frame, and that's part of trading. But we were able to get back in. We were able to re-execute, re-get that short. So that was good. And then we'll start Monday out with brand new funded accounts for my funded futures. Looking for, essentially what I'm going to look for is about $300 a day. However, I'll trade those with my FNM. So if I can get my $600 on Monday, then that pretty much gives me an easier amount of trading I need to do going forward. So overall, great day. Happy to close the stream out with a little bit better of a day for you guys here. I'm logging out. I'm closing out. I'm taking a nice weekend, enjoying vacation, enjoying Halloween, and I will see you guys on Monday.